You think you suffer because of what happened, because someone left, because life was unfair, because you made a mistake, because it still hurts. But that's not why you suffer. That's just the scene. The real pain comes from the voice in your mind that won't let it go. The one that replays it, judges it, narrates it, attaches meaning to it, over and over again. Suffering isn't what happened. It's the story you keep telling yourself about what happened. And here's the truth that can change your life. You are not the story. You are not the narrator. You are the awareness behind it all, untouched, unbroken, unbound. So what if, in the next 20 minutes, you could drop the illusion? What if you stopped believing the voice and remembered the space behind it? That's where suffering ends. Not in control, not in revenge, not in fixing the past. It ends the moment you stop arguing with what is and return to what's always been here. Peace without conditions. This video won't change your life. You will, when you see what's always been true. Comment, I release the story. I choose peace. If you're ready to stop carrying pain that isn't yours anymore. You think suffering comes from what happened to you, the heartbreak, the failure, the betrayal, the chaos. But what if that's not where suffering begins? What if pain is real, but suffering is a choice your mind keeps making over and over again? Here's the truth. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. Pain is what you feel when something hits your heart. Suffering is what happens when you keep thinking about it long after it's gone. Pain is clean. Suffering is sticky. Pain shows up, moves through, and leaves. Suffering clings to you through memory, resistance, identity. Have you ever caught yourself replaying a conversation in your head for days? Have you ever told a painful story so many times that it became part of who you think you are? That's suffering. Not the event, not the wound, but the mental echo that won't stop speaking. And the illusion is this. You believe that if you think about it long enough, you'll heal. If you replay it just one more time, you'll understand. If you hold on to it tightly, you'll be protected from it ever happening again. But the mind doesn't want healing. It wants control. It wants to figure out why. It wants to blame. It wants to protect the version of you that was hurt, even if it means keeping you in pain forever. And the most dangerous part of this illusion? It feels personal. It feels like your voice. It feels like truth. But it's not. It's the mind's version of reality, not life itself. What if suffering isn't what life did to you, but what your thoughts are still doing to life? The mind says, this shouldn't have happened, but it did. The mind says, I can't let this go, but it already left. The mind says, this pain defines me, but only if you agree. Ask yourself this, who is the one hearing these thoughts? Who is watching this pain arise and fall inside you? There's a deeper part of you, always calm, always present, that doesn't react, doesn't panic, doesn't attach. That part is who you truly are. Suffering arises when you forget that space and believe the voice instead. The mind doesn't want peace. It wants protection. It wants certainty. But peace is not born from control. Peace is born from surrender, from allowing what is without a fight. So what's the illusion? It's the belief that your thoughts are you, that your story is permanent, that your wounds are your identity. You are not the voice in your head. You are the awareness that hears it. And the moment you realize that, the illusion starts to dissolve. Because suffering needs you to believe it. It needs you to feed it with attention, repetition, and resistance. But the moment you stop arguing with reality, the moment you say, yes, it hurt, but I don't need to carry it anymore, you begin to return to clarity, to stillness, to yourself. Not the version the pain created, but the one that was always there, watching, waiting, whole. Pain is a signal, suffering is a cycle, and most people never learn the difference. Pain is part of life, the sharp edge of presence. It comes when you lose something you love, when you face the unknown, when life shifts without asking. It's immediate, physical, emotional, and if you let it move through you, it passes. But suffering, that's what happens after the pain, when the moment ends, but your mind keeps it alive. Why? Because pain doesn't scare the soul, but it terrifies the ego. The ego hates change. It hates loss. It hates anything it can't control or explain. So it holds on to pain like a map, as if by studying it endlessly, it will never be hurt again. Have you ever found yourself explaining your trauma, not to heal it, but to justify why you're still afraid? Have you noticed how the story gets bigger with time, not smaller? That's suffering. Because suffering is the mind's attempt to escape pain by creating a narrative around it. This happened because I'm not good enough. I must have deserved this. No one will ever understand what I went through. And now, the pain becomes an identity. But here's what no one teaches. You can feel pain fully and still not suffer. You can grieve a loss, cry deeply, sit in silence, and then let it go without turning it into who you are. Because pain is a moment. Suffering is a belief. Pain says, I'm hurting. Suffering says, I will always hurt. And one is honest. The other is a cage. The mind doesn't do this to hurt you. It thinks it's protecting you. By remembering what happened, it thinks it's keeping you safe. But safety built on fear is not peace. It's imprisonment. Ask yourself, what pain are you still suffering over? Not because it's happening, but because your mind won't let it end. What if it's not the pain that's stuck, but your identity inside it? You're allowed to stop suffering. Even if the world told you healing takes forever. Even if they told you time heals all. Because it's not time that heals. It's truth. The truth that your worth was never defined by what happened. The truth that your future doesn't need to be a continuation of your pain. The truth that letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means freeing. Pain wakes you up. Suffering puts you to sleep. And your soul came here to awaken. So let the pain speak. Let it teach. Let it soften you. But don't let it become your name. You are not your scars. You are the one who carries light through them. How the mind keeps you trapped in pain. The event ends. The person leaves. The chaos quiets. But inside your mind, it keeps happening, over and over again, like a movie on repeat, like a wound that never gets the chance to heal. Why? Because the mind doesn't know how to let go. It only knows how to hold on. It replays the past not because it enjoys the pain, but because it's terrified of forgetting. The mind believes that if you stop thinking about what hurt you, you'll be unprepared next time. So it builds walls. It tells stories. It keeps you in a loop of fear, of blame, of control. Have you ever noticed how you can be fine one moment, and then a single thought pulls you back into the past like it just happened? That's not trauma. That's mental habit. A loop created by your nervous system, fed by your thoughts, sustained by your belief that thinking about it keeps you safe. The mind creates what I call emotional echo chambers. Something triggers you, a smell, a phrase, a memory, and suddenly the voice returns. You're not enough. This will never get better. You always ruin things. These loops feel true, but they're not truth. They're familiarity. The mind clings to what it knows, even if it hurts, because pain feels more certain than surrender. And this is where the trap tightens. You try to think your way out of pain, using the same mind that created the loop. You analyze it, break it apart, look for meaning. But every time you do, you're reinforcing the belief that the answer lives in the thought. It doesn't. Suffering ends not when you fix the thought, but when you step outside of it, when you observe it without grabbing it, when you say, there's that voice again, and let it float by like a cloud in a vast sky. Ask yourself this: if a thought causes pain, why do you keep believing it? What if you could feel it arise and simply not engage? That's the shift. You don't silence the mind. You see through it. You stop asking it for answers. and return to awareness, to presence, to the part of you that's always been watching quietly, behind the storm. Because the mind is not your enemy. It's a servant that got too loud. It was meant to help you navigate life, not define your identity. When you start living from your awareness, not your mind, you take your power back. You return to the now, where suffering can't survive. Because the now doesn't need a story. It just is. And so are you. At some point in your life, pain became personal. It wasn't just something that happened. It became a part of you, not by choice, but by survival. Because when the wound was too deep, when no one validated your experience, when silence was your only comfort, your mind created an identity around the pain, just so you could keep going. This happened to me. This is why I am the way I am. This is who I became because of it. And slowly, without realizing, you started protecting your pain. Because it explained everything. Why you push people away. Why you don't trust. Why you self-sabotage. Why you can't let go. But here's the sacred truth. You are not the identity the pain created. You are the one who survived it. And there's a huge difference between honoring your pain and becoming it. Have you ever been afraid of healing because you didn't know who you'd be without your sadness? Have you ever clung to your trauma like a badge? Not because you wanted to suffer, but because it made you feel real? That's the subtle trap. The identity that says, if I stop hurting, I'll stop being me. If I forgive, they win. If I move on, it didn't matter. But freedom is not forgetting what happened. It's realizing that what happened can no longer define your worth. Let that sink in. You can tell your story without reliving it. You can remember without reopening the wound. You can honor your past without dragging it into your future. Because healing doesn't erase your journey. It reveals who you were before the hurt and who you've always been underneath it. So how do you release the identity that needs to hurt? You stop feeding it with your attention. You stop performing pain to stay relatable. You stop telling the same story hoping it will finally give you the closure it never could. And instead, you meet the silence underneath, the stillness that never judged you, the awareness that witnessed it all and never changed. Ask yourself now, who am I without this pain? At first, the answer may scare you because the mind doesn't know that version of you, but your soul does. It's been waiting for her return. And when you stop identifying with the brokenness, you realize you were never broken, only buried, not behind pain, but behind the belief that you needed it. There's one truth so simple, so quiet, so radical, that the mind will do everything it can to ignore it. Because if you really understood it, suffering would have no place to live. Here it is. Nothing needs to change for you to be at peace. Not the past, not the people, not the outcome, not even the pain. Peace is not something you earn when life finally cooperates. It's not the reward for fixing yourself. It's not waiting on the other side of healing. It's here, now, always. But the mind doesn't know how to access that, because the mind believes peace must be deserved, that you must solve, analyze, revisit, and control before you're allowed to feel free. It says, once I understand why it happened, I'll feel better. Once they apologize, I can move on. Once I change, I'll finally be worthy of rest. But truth doesn't play those games. Truth is not conditional. It's presence. It's the space behind the pain, the witness behind the thought, the you that's been untouched by every storm you've survived. Can you feel it? That silent, formless awareness that doesn't flinch. That's the only part of you that's never suffered, because it never needed anything to be different. It just was. Suffering dissolves the moment you stop resisting what is, the moment you stop trying to escape the now and realize the now has never hurt you. Only your argument with it did. You've been taught that healing is hard, that freedom is a mountain to climb. But what if it's not? What if the real work is not in doing more, but in letting go? Letting go of the voice that says you're behind. Letting go of the belief that peace must be earned. letting go of the story that only pain makes you real. Ask yourself, what if I stopped trying to change anything right now and just felt what's here? Not ran, not judged, just noticed. Because in that noticing, there's no resistance. And without resistance, suffering can't breathe. This isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's about finally realizing you don't need to wait for life to fix itself before you can rest. Peace was never lost. It was just covered by the mind's need to struggle. But now you know the truth. And once you know it, you can never unknow it. You don't need to heal every wound to be free. You only need to stop believing that wounds are what separate you from freedom. You've been trained to live in protection mode, to guard your heart, to analyze every situation, to prepare for disappointment before it arrives, just in case. And maybe it worked. Maybe it kept you safe. But it never made you whole. Because protection isn't peace. It's tension. It's control. It's a life filtered through fear, disguised as intelligence. Have you ever caught yourself scanning a moment for what could go wrong, even when everything seems fine? Have you noticed how hard it is to fully relax when your mind is still on alert? That's protection pretending to be awareness. But protection is noisy. Peace is silent. Living from protection says, I'll stay safe if I predict the pain. Living from peace says, I'll stay free if I release the fear. Peace isn't passive. It's not pretending everything's okay. It's the grounded choice to no longer let fear dictate your behavior. It's saying, even if uncertainty comes, I will not abandon myself to prepare for it. Most people confuse intuition with fear. They think their body is warning them, but it's just remembering old wounds. So they armor up, close down, reject before being rejected. But real safety comes from self-trust, not control. From knowing that whatever happens, you won't leave your own side again. Ask yourself gently, am I acting from my intuition or from a past wound that hasn't been seen? The mind will always tell you that peace is dangerous, that if you relax, you'll get hurt, that if you trust, you'll be betrayed. But that's not truth. That's trauma speaking through habit. Peace isn't something you arrive at. It's something you return to. The moment you stop protecting an identity that no longer needs defending. The version of you that needed to be on guard all the time. She was real, she was strong, she saved your life. But she's tired now, and there's a deeper you underneath, ready to live, not just survive. You don't need to watch for red flags in every moment. You don't need to second-guess every act of kindness. You don't need to punish your present for the crimes of your past. You can live softly. You can choose peace. Not because the world is safe, but because you are finally safe in yourself. When you stop protecting yourself from life, you finally start participating in it. And in that surrender, freedom returns.